All right, on this episode of Prep Show, we're going to workshop a scene with two very talented actors. And the scene that I've picked is from the pilot of the Orville, because now that Star Trek is self-destructing, I'm so happy to have a show like the Orville, which is sometimes as good, sometimes better. You won't believe it. So this is partly an homage, but also partly because there is a really interesting dynamic in this scene that I'd love to try my hand at directing. So there are two things that are important to know. First, that I've rewritten the scene to hide where this is from, because that immediately makes it impossible for the actors to think outside the box. Basically, they need to be free. They need to go in blank. So I've rewritten the scene to happen in an office in the 21st century. There's no space stuff anymore, and I've changed the names. There is a download link below if you want to follow along in the script, which I think is a pretty good idea. Secondly, I forgot to explain the scene in the beginning, and it actually takes about 10 minutes before I remember. So if the scene doesn't make sense to you, just wait a little bit and everything will be perfectly clear. This is an interesting episode where we hit some really good acting and directing techniques that you definitely don't want to miss. So let's do the show. The actors I'm working with are first of all Zach Meiser. I met him some years back in an acting group where he presented a monologue that's probably the best monologue I've ever seen. He's now getting cast in pilots for shows on streaming services, and it seems obvious to me he'll go somewhere. And I can say the same for the other actor, Katie Mancuso. She was one of the actors in the Directing Actors course. She's genuinely talented, and I want to do my part to help her get more attention. So hire these people. This show is brought to you by Hollywood Camera Work. Check out Causality Story Sequencer, which is a new kind of writing app where you develop your story visually. Download it at hollywoodcamerawork.com. Prep Show airs on YouTube and Indie Film Hustle TV and as a podcast. And remember to subscribe to get notified of new episodes. Okay, welcome Katie and welcome Zach. So we're just gonna workshop a scene for fun and practice, and we don't have to achieve anything. It's like I mean I'm not even completely sure how this scene ought to be. So I'm gonna lean like heavily on you for how you see the characters. But we don't have to achieve anything specific, but in the first half here, we're going to be like a little logic heavy because we need to work out some things about the scene, like where's everybody coming from, where are the beats? And then we need to somehow extract ourselves from that headspace and try to act it a few times. When I picked this scene, I thought that this was dynamite. There's like all kinds of conflict. This scene here will be fun to do. And then as I started doing some homework on the scene, I started to feel that I understood the scene less and less. Or basically, I felt like I understood the characters less and less. And I think I've come to a conclusion that I think that there is a problem in the scene. But why don't we just do just a bare bones read through and just see where we are with no effort.
Cool.
And we should try to get like a little bit off book so we're not all just like here.
Right.
After a while. Okay, I'm going to narrate. So, Will sits behind his desk. A knock at the door. He steels himself for a beat. Then.
Come in.
The door slides open and Holly stands there.
Hi.
Let me ask this real quick. How much action do you want, or do you want me to just stay facing this way?
We don't even know where the door is. Let's pretend that the door is over to your side, because then you're going to have to turn a lot. Then you can just look.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Hello, I'm sorry. Do I know you?
Come on, Will.
You know my name. I'm sorry. You've got me at a disadvantage.
Okay, look, please don't make this a game.
No games. I swear to God, I literally don't recognize who you are. Oh, wait a second. Holly, how are you? Oh, sorry, I didn't recognize you without that wedding dress on.
Are you all finished?
I thought I was, but apparently you're not.
Well, look, I can't say I'm sorry enough times. And I know it doesn't mean a damn thing to you, but I truly am. It doesn't change anything. I get it. But I am sorrier about what I did to you than anything I've done in my entire life.
You know, Holly, I've done a pretty good job getting over this, in this past year. So why don't you tell me what the hell you're doing here?
I was second in line for your position. They insisted I took the VP job, and I took it, despite any awkwardness. I figured I'd wrong you so badly that if I could do something good for you, it'd help me atone in some way. I literally bailed on my whole division to come here.
Well, you bailed on a whole marriage, so that must have been a piece of cake, huh?
Look, I'm not saying what I did wasn't disgraceful, but I only did it because I didn't have you.
There we go.
You were working all the time. You'd shut yourself off from our relationship, and I just felt like it was in decay.
Holly, as I said before, you could have said something.
And as I've said before, I tried many times. Either you didn't hear me or you weren't around at all, but I did try.
This position, this is what I've been waiting for my entire career. Who the hell are you to come in at this moment and try and screw that up?
As soon as a new position becomes available for me, I'll request it. You'll come out squeaky clean, and with luck, they'll let it slide without asking me too many questions about why I can't sit still. Will.
Fine.
I just want to help.
Fine.
I did miss you.
They're waiting in the conference room.
And he exits, and Holly watches him go with a look of deep conflict. Deep conflict. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's the scene kind of doing the work by itself,
right.
and there's something going on there. So I am pleasantly surprised because as I studied this scene here, I started to feel that maybe the scene is clunky and stuff, but I could feel all kinds of stuff back and forth. I felt that worked. So, I have a couple of ideas, but I kind of want to get your ideas first. Let's start with you, Katie. What do you understand about your character so far?
What I understand is that it's coming from a place of hurt and guilt. And I think they both have hurt, but in different ways, obviously. I think she feels guilty, very guilty for cheating on him, but I don't.
So actually, I haven't explained I've explained it to you, but I haven't explained to anybody watching the meaning of this. So the meaning of this scene here is that you used to be dating. You were supposed to get married, but he was never available, and you cheated on him. And just rationalized that completely, and so he is very hurt, and you are very guilty, and I felt that we had to answer the question of why are you suddenly back in the company here, because obviously it's super awkward that you're back, and I felt that the thing that I could explain best is that you are there because you feel guilty. So you don't want to be there. You're making yourself go there and make it right.
I agree.
Because that could create some interesting friction that you're kind of forcing yourself to say some of the words. At least that's a take that I would like to try and see what that looks like. If you just fill your head with not wanting to be there and just forcing yourself to say all the words.
Yes.
That's good.
Like penance.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some friction in the scene because this was what bothered me in the scene. is that everything is quite a lot at face value. I mean, you can hear from the words what headspace everybody's coming from.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean, I think she sounds, kind of reconciliatory here, and he sounds like just how dare you come back into my life after all this that you did here. And he's being sarcastic, which is like his shield. But I just think that it's difficult to have a scene where it's just everything is face value. And that's why in my head, I try to go for things like where can there be a contradiction in here? And I mean, you must agree, it is a contradiction for you if you are feeling so guilty that you're forcing yourself. Like basically, I mean, we could try to just do like a dumb, exaggerated experiment where you just make yourself as angry as possible and then just say the words anyway. And I was just interested in seeing if we could feel that mismatch. I mean, we'll know right away if it works.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, in just a second, let's try to do like a couple of exaggerated experiments just to see if those are directions that are worth going in.
Okay.
Zach, your character, what are you getting?
Well, so basically, prior to the infidelity, I thought in my mind things were going swimmingly. Then once she had cheated on me, I threw myself into the harder of working towards this promotion, because with all of the emptiness and that void that I had when she left, and the realization that I had emotionally when she left, I feel that I can fix that by accomplishing this with my career, and this pivotal moment where, this could finally make me feel better. And
that's very good.
I realize it won't, but that's what I'm hoping for.
That also makes it important that you do it alone. Yeah. I mean, if she is there to give you a hand up, then this won't be your achievement. Right. Right. I mean, this is for you to regain your identity. Mm-hmm. That sounded like what you were saying, but now you sound surprised that I'm echoing it back.
In the terms of regaining identity, it's good, but I think it's more of establishing my independence, because while I was a workaholic, and I had done some of the improv work as far as what little things that we had between each other, like you had mentioned dirty socks, and one of mine that I had mentioned was I couldn't understand why she was always going out with her college friends, but in reality it was because I was too busy with work, and that bothered me that she would go out instead of sitting at home doing nothing while I worked, and I couldn't see why she did that. So I think the independence that I'm trying to gain by letting this is the game changer for me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Where are you coming from in this scene? What's your character's opinion about what's happening right now?
Prior to this scene, before she comes in, knowing that this conference room is the matter of change or not getting this promotion, right? I'm just kind of doing my final preparations. I'm kind of, fine tuning everything as far as what I'm going to say, what I'm going to present. And so for her to come in at this pivotal moment and, it floods everything back to me, and I'm trying to cover that up as if it's not there.
Let me bring one quick thing up, because the script says, and by the way, I'll say at the end where this comes from. It's not a big secret, but it will be super distracting to know where it comes from. So I'll just say it at the end so that we can think clearly. But it says right now that you're actually looking at a picture. I mean, so when you have the line that says, "I swear to God, I literally don't recognize you at all." Oh, wait a second! You have a picture of her in a wedding dress. Oh, hi. Oh, I didn't recognize you without a wedding dress. So that means that it's almost like in this version of it, you're prepared for her coming. And that means that it's almost like you've been planning your response. Do you think it's better if this is a complete surprise that she walks in? Like you have no forewarning that she's coming?
I think either way it could be played just as good. But I like the idea that I have been building up the sarcasm and anger.
Yeah, I mean, you've been rehearsing this in your mind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just want to try to like do some extreme things and see if there's anything interesting. Katie, I would really like to see if you really don't want to say any of these words and you're forcing yourself, and that means that they come out angry, basically.
Great.
And this is not, the attempt right now is not like a refined acting performance. I just want to see if that's interesting.
Okay.
Zach, can we come up with some kind of really exaggerated choice for you?
Sure.
I mean, do you want to say what it is, or do you just want a surprise?
No, how about the angle of almost playing with fire by trying to be angry but yet flirtatious? What do you think about that?
Okay. I did not know you were going to say that. Okay. That's good. Go for it, man.
All right,
okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So Will sits behind his desk and knock at the door. He steals himself for a bit, which, by the way, means that he knows she's coming. And then...
Come in.
Oh, the door slides open and Holly stands there.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, do I know you?
Come on, Will.
Oh, you know my name. I'm sorry. You know, you've got me at a disadvantage here.
Look, please do not make this a game.
No game. I swear to God, I literally, I don't recognize who you are one bit. Holly. God, hi, Holly. How are you? Sorry, I didn't recognize you without the wedding dress on.
Are you all finished?
Oops, we lost Zach. Oh no, we lost Zach. He's
No.
back. Woo. Okay, let me make sure everything's still recording. Okay, so let's just back up. So there's a picture of their wedding on his computer screen, and he closes the window. Your line, Zach.
Holly. Hi. God, how are you? You know, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you without that wedding dress on.
Are you all finished?
Oh, I thought I was, but apparently you're not.
Will, look. I can't say I'm sorry enough times. And I know it doesn't mean a damn thing to you, but I truly am. It doesn't change anything. I get it. But I am sorrier about what I did to you than anything I've ever done in my entire life.
Oh, Holly. You know, I've done a pretty good job, you know, getting over things, over you in this past year.
Zach, it's okay to talk to her through the camera so you can see her.
I thought she was still over there.
Yeah, well, now she's not. Now it's okay. Carry on.
Okay. So why don't you tell me just what the hell you're doing here right now?
Well, I was second in line for your position. They insisted I took the VP job, and I took it. Despite any awkwardness, I figured I'd wronged you so badly that if I could do something good for you, it'd help me atone in some way.
Katie, can I back you up a little bit? Could you like just, if you say the whole thing faster, so it's like you don't want to say this, you want to get it over with.
Okay, great.
All right, let's just back it up. So Will, I'm just going to do your last line. So what the hell are you doing here?
You want me to say that or Katie?
Well, I said it for you, but yes, please.
So why don't you tell me, Katie? Or sorry, why don't you tell me?
Too real.
What the hell you're doing here?
I was second in line for your position. They insisted I took the VP job, and I took it despite any awkwardness. I figured I'd wronged you so badly that if I could do something good for you, it'd help me like atone in some way. I literally bailed on my whole division to come here.
I mean, you bailed on an entire marriage, so that must have been a piece of cake, right?
Okay, look, I'm not saying what I did wasn't disgraceful, but I only did it because I didn't have you.
There we go.
You were working all the time. You'd shut yourself off from our relationship, and I just felt like it was in decay.
Yeah, I mean, let's just a quick break here. So, what I am feeling with this is that it's almost a little too convincing, in the sense that you are too convinced that you're right, and while you're being angry. Do you see what I mean? Your character.
Yeah.
And that means that we lost the guilt.
Yes,
And so,
can I jump in real quick?
Yes. Go ahead.
I agree with that, and I think that there's a difference that I want to kind of play with there, because I think I feel kind of like, I think we kind of talked about this, but it starts spilling into the kind of non-guilt when I'm saying, after piece of cake, look, I'm not saying what I did wasn't disgraceful. Like, I have the guilt, but then I'm trying to explain myself a little more. But I agree with you that I need to find that.
The guilt came through a lot more when you were reconciliatory. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so the way you had it before, that was much clearer. But now we know that, so that's fine. That's why we do experiments. So let's see. So one of the questions that I was asking myself about this scene here, because obviously we can go off in all kinds of directions trying to come up with behavior. I feel that this scene here hinges on the situation itself actually being awkward. And that means that it hinges on us believing the history. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That if what happened is fresh in our minds, then the scene is awkward just out of the box. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I thought we could do was actually just role play a little bit of past relationship, like role play some dirty socks stuff.
What is the dirty socks stuff?
Well, the dirty sock stuff is him being a slob and burrito and beer for breakfast in his underwear and whatever.
The fact that I think that you drink entirely too much, Holly, every week. Is too much.
Okay.
Whether it's wine or not.
Okay. So
should we just? I mean, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Yeah, I mean, we just need some kind of situation where he is being a slob. And, or I don't know. I mean, what do you feel like? What do you feel could capture the energy of the past relationship?
Saturday morning. You're up. What are you doing? I'm cleaning.
Actually, I'm pulling in something that totally doesn't need to be in here. I'm being polluted by my prior knowledge about where this comes from. Let's forget that thing. Let's do the post breakup. And let's have you like rationalize it all you can. Why you're actually justified in what you did.
Like this is right after?
Well, or the day after.
Okay.
I'm really curious to hear this too. So let's hear you justify this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, so half the reason is that that you've been working too much.
Yeah.
So she has now slept with somebody. You have found out, and this is the conversation the day after. So Katie, I mean, actually, Zach, I mean, why don't you ask her how she's squaring this in her brain?
Sure. I mean, I'd like to know, for starters, who it was.
Well, just kind of some guy I just met around. I was out with the girls. It doesn't really matter like who it was. I don't think that should be the issue.
Right. And it didn't mean anything because apparently that's the money maker. That's the difference maker. The fact that it doesn't mean anything. So it's okay. Right.
I mean, I had someone there for me.
Yeah. Well, I was here for you at home,
Not
working
really.
towards our future. And what do I get in return for that? You sleeping with some random Joe.
Zach, can I get, sorry to jump in and snap you out of it. Zach, you're totally nailing the energy that belongs in the scene.
Uh-huh.
This is fantastic. Anyway, carry on.
You sitting around on your computer isn't really being there for me. And I mean, do you not hear me when I talk to you?
What are you talking about? I hear every request that you make, which is why, in turn, I go out and buy everything it is that you decide that you want. You want new furniture, we get new furniture. You want to go out on the weekend, you want to go spend it at Bed Bath & Beyond when I should be here doing what I'm doing. That's fine. You know, I listen to you. I hear you.
No, you're not listening.
Yeah.
I don't care about money and things. I want a husband. I want a relationship.
That's
I'm
what you
sorry.
say. But apparently you want to be married to every man that you meet.
Okay.
No, it's not okay.
I'm sorry for what I did. Okay, what I did was bad, but you weren't listening to me. I need a husband. I need a partner. I don't need a robot that sits at work every single day from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. and comes home. We can't even talk. I mean, what?
I don't know what to say to you. Because to me, it sounds like just irrational thinking. I can't really have a conversation and move forward and expect this to be reprimanded from somebody who can't even see what they did was wrong.
I know what I did was wrong.
Right. But you did it, right?
I did it for a reason.
What? Oh, yeah.
That you're not listening to.
Because I wasn't there?
You weren't there. You're never here.
Well, I'm sorry that we can't all just like look at rainbows every day. Some people have to work.
I work too.
Yeah.
Katie, this is fantastic. When you started like really barricading yourself and really defending why what you did is not so bad because it's justified because that's what anybody would do. I mean, when you really dig into your position, that there's a look in your eye that I loved there when you started to really believe your own arguments. Can we go for just a little bit longer? And Zach, what I'm getting here is that you're super upset, and that totally works. And that's what ought to be underneath the whole scene.
Okay.
Let's keep going a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I know that you said that you work too, but obviously you don't work nearly as hard as I do because if
it's not a competition.
It's not a competition,
It's not a
but
competition.
it's just the proof is in the pudding. Look at where I'm at.
Oh my
Look
God.
at what you got lucky. And it's because of your looks. I get it. You're an attractive woman. That's great. But I work my tail to the bone. And you can't dispute that.
What do you want from this relationship? Do you want a partner or do you want someone to provide for? Because I don't want to be provided for.
You want to know what I'd like? I'd like for you to find a time traveling machine. And I'd like you to go back to a week earlier when you were faced with a decision to let that man stick it inside of you. And I would like for you to make the right decision. And then I would be okay.
So
can you do that?
Let me get this. Let me get this.
Out?
In your mindset, in your mindset, would you have liked me? Will, I just don't think you're really understanding because yes, put that aside, what I did. Okay, for a second.
Sure. Okay.
What did you want me to do? If I wasn't happy with us and I'm not happy with this relationship, and I've told you many, 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 many times, what did you want me to do?
You could have said,
continue in an unhappy marriage?
Stop having sex with another guy because you're not there for me. That could have been a possibility.
You're
Did you do
not
that?
there for me.
Instead, you decided to take his attention over mine.
What did you want me to do? What did you want me to do, Will?
Yeah, this is fantastic. Amazing. Okay, scene right now. Will sits behind his desk and knock at the door. He steels himself for a beat. Then
Come in.
the door slides open and Holly stands there.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry, do I know you?
Come on, Will.
Oh, you know my name. Ooh. Sorry, you've got me at a disadvantage right here.
Look, please do not make this a game.
No game, I swear to God. I literally, I don't recognize who you are at all.
And there's a picture of their wedding on his computer screen. So he closes a window.
Oh, wait a second. Holly. How are you? Sorry, I didn't recognize you without the wedding dress on.
Are y'all finished?
I thought I was. But apparently you're not.
Will, look, I can't say I'm sorry enough times. And I know it doesn't mean a damn thing to you, but I truly am. Okay, it doesn't change anything. I get it. But I am sorrier about what I did to you than anything I've done in my entire life.
Oh, God. I've done a pretty good job getting over this. Over you in the past year. Okay, so why don't you tell me what the hell you're doing here now?
I was second in line for your position. They insisted I took the VP job, and I took it.
Oh, that's great.
Despite any awkwardness. I figured I'd wronged you so badly that if I could do something good for you, it'd help me atone in some way. I literally bailed on my whole division to come here.
Bailed on a whole marriage, so that must have been a piece of cake.
Okay, look. I'm not saying what I did wasn't disgraceful, but I only did it because I didn't have you.
There we go.
You were working all the time. You'd shut yourself off from our relationship, and I just felt like it was in decay.
As I said before, Holly, you could have said something,
And I've said before, Will, I tried many times. Either you didn't hear me or you weren't around at all, but I did try.
This position is what I've been waiting for my whole career. Who the hell are you to come around right now and try and screw that up?
Well, as soon as a new position becomes available for me, I'll request it. You'll come out squeaky clean. And with luck, they'll let it slide without asking me too many questions about why I can't sit still. Will.
Fine.
I just want to help.
Fine.
I did miss you.
We're waiting in the conference room.
This is very good. Good for you guys. This is very good. And Zach, you hit on something that I actually wrote down. I have it right here. When she's talking, it says yada, yada, yada. So, because... No, because it's like, now she goes
He's
off
heard
with
it like a million times.
whole rationalization, and that gives you like a reaction. It gives you something to do while she's talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my God, hear this. Oh, no. You need to shut up. That's what you're thinking while she's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Can we try to do that one more? I mean, just, do whatever you want with it, but it's
Cool.
just that you had the same intuition. And then the same question for you. Katie, I mean, what are you thinking while he's talking? I mean, what does that mean to you, everything that he says?
Well, he's just still not listening to me.
Okay.
That's good.
I mean, it's just like this.
But
it's
what
this
does it mean?
blockade.
Like one thing that it could mean is that he's just being such a 5-year-old and he's not
Yes.
seeing logic.
I mean, he's resorting to the exact. He's not seeing what I'm. He's not listening to me. He's not.
I mean, this is part of what didn't work in the relationship.
Exactly.
Is that he's such a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what everything he says means.
Okay, great.
And I mean, let's go from the top. And then basically, Zach, you know, the more this whole thing bothers you, the better, I think. All right, Will sits behind his desk and knock at the door. He steels himself for a beat. Then,
Come in.
Hi.
Hey. I'm sorry. Do I know you?
Come on, Will.
You know my name. Ugh. You kind of got me at a disadvantage, you know.
All right, look. Please don't make this a game.
Well, no games. I swear to God. Like, I don't recognize who you are at all.
oh, wait a sec. Yeah. So there's a picture of their wedding on the screen and he closes the window.
Wait a second.
Mm.
Holly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Holly. How are you? Sorry, you know, I didn't recognize you without that wedding dress.
Are you all finished?
Thought I was. Apparently you're not.
Will, look. I can't say I'm sorry enough times. And I know it doesn't mean a damn thing to you, but I truly am, okay? It doesn't change anything. I get it. But I am sorrier for what I did to you than anything in my entire life.
You know, I've done a pretty good job getting over this. Over you in the past year. So why don't you tell me what the hell you're doing here right now?
I was second in line for the position, for your position. They insisted I take the VP job and I took it, despite any awkwardness. I figured I'd wronged you so badly that if I could do something good for you, it helped me atone in some way. I literally bailed on my whole division to come here.
You bailed on a whole marriage, so that must have been a piece of cake, right?
Look, I'm not saying what I did wasn't disgraceful, but I only did it because I didn't have you.
There we go.
Okay. You were working all the time. You'd shut yourself off from our relationship. And I felt like it was in decay.
As I said before, you could have said something.
And as I've said before, I did. I tried many times. Either you didn't hear me or you weren't around at all. But I did try.
This position, this is what I've been waiting for. I've been working for this my entire career. Who the hell are you to come around right now and try and screw that up? Huh?
Well, as soon as another position becomes available, I'll request it. Okay, you'll come out squeaky clean. And with any luck, they'll let it slide without me asking too many questions about why I can't sit still.
Fine.
Will, God, I just want to help.
Fine.
I did miss you.
Oh God, they're waiting in the conference room.
So this is a tiny note for the ending because there's a super beat because I mean there's a big beat change and you were kind of working to get yourself down to the next beat because we're like all the way up here and then it's like I did miss you.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was hard. It was hard for you to get down there. And then I felt that for when they're waiting in the conference room, I mean that's like a cutoff. That's like a no response. It's like you're just changing the subject. Can we see what that feels like if we just go back to Holly as soon as a new position comes available?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just try that again. So, but just don't give her. I mean, what was I going to say? Just change to being very formal and businesslike.
Okay.
They're waiting in the conference room. I just want to see if there's any energy in it.
Okay.
We'll find out. Okay. So as soon as a new position comes available.
Well, as soon as a new position becomes available for me, I'll request it. Okay, you'll come out squeaky clean, and with luck, they'll let it slide without asking me too many questions about why I can't sit still. Will.
Fine.
I just want to help.
Fine.
I did miss you.
They're waiting in the conference room.
Good. Oh, and Katie, that was fantastic. Just simply waiting longer allowed that feeling to change. So that was fantastic.
Cool.
I like it. I'm done. I mean, this is great.
It's so much fun.
This is fantastic. We should do this all the time.
Yeah, we should.
This is fun.
It's fun.
I think this works. And I was so nervous suddenly about this scene that the flow in the scene wasn't good, but the flow in the scene is terrific. And I think we got into a really good headspace on this. I think we actually got into a better headspace than where it comes from. So should I tell you where this comes from?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is from the pilot of the Orville.
The Orville.
Oh.
What's the Orville?
Which is
what's his character?
Seth MacFarlane. So this is like basically Trek in this is Trek in anything but name, basically.
I'm very glad you didn't tell us where it was.
Do you see? If I had told you that would have warped your brain. You would have. So, but because that is the storyline. I mean, that is the storyline that they started out with. Which, by the way, they've mostly abandoned, which is not a good thing. But basically, the whole point, I mean, the whole tension in the many first episodes is that they are now forced to work together, and there's all kinds of friction going on there. But then in season 2, they just kind of even out, and they're just kind of friend zoning each other, and I mean that's a storyline that has run its course. But it's sticking around. I mean, they're sticking around, but with nothing to do. Do you see what I mean? So it's actually a lost storyline. It would have been so easy to keep that going because, for him, I have to be a man. I have to run this command myself, and I have to do it without anybody's help. And there she is feeling guilty and insisting on helping. And she, she's the reason for all kinds of bad things in his life. You could milk that storyline for seasons, no problem. And I don't understand why they abandon it because you could keep that storyline going even without taking much time to do it. It could just be part of the background noise, right?
It's natural tension.
Yeah. I think this is great. I think you did good. This is fantastic.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
So, that's me doing all the talking. I mean, what did you feel? What did you feel worked here? Like, what clicked best for you here?
My favorite in any work is just doing improv for past relationships. And so after that, it's just extra fire and fuel, and it always adds an extra layer to the scene afterwards.
That really changed the scene a lot immediately after we'd done that. That was like all simmering underneath. It's like a year hadn't passed, right? Yeah. Right. And you, Zach? I mean, what did you feel clicked the best?
I felt the most connected with Holly and Will when we were doing the improv about the justification on feeling the way that we felt, and it was like we're on the spectrum, we're polar opposites. Like she's justifying the hell out of this, and I'm trying to get her to see my point, and then vice versa, and that really helped because it doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter what the text said. It felt more natural. You know what I mean? And so, anyways, I mean, I know that sometimes if it's a playwright or if it's a screenwriter, I know sometimes they're very particular about the verbatims, but I think if the concept, and I think we nailed the concept after the improv, I think that, the beats and the flow and the message was delivered. And I think it turned out great after that.
Yeah. I had one.
Cool to have,
okay, go ahead. Well, I had one thing that I thought worked, but you go first.
Just really quick. I just thought it was interesting that it's fun to develop that connection even over of camera. Like we're not in person. So that was cool, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I felt that when we did the adjustment where, especially you, Zach, where we gave it meaning, everything that she was saying, that it had, that all of this was just yada, here she goes again, blah, 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 with her rationalizations, immediately you were much more active from that idea. You were much more active while she was talking, and that means that you were much more ready to punch as soon as you were talking. And that means that you could, the wave of what you were going to say, you could feel that wave coming up to it. And so suddenly that created a lot of subtext for me. We'll look at it afterwards and then...
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
But to me, that idea changed the chemistry a lot. I don't know if you felt that at all.
No, I did. Katie, you did great work. I enjoyed, even from the half of your face that I see, change with you. So it'll be interesting.
Agreed.
Yeah. You did good. This is
really
this is great. Let's do stuff like this much more.
Please, I would love to.
Yes, great.
I'm down.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I mean, then that's the episode. So let's wrap here. A small thing to notice in this episode was that the actors sometimes ended up taking very long pauses. And while that drags the energy down when you're shooting, it actually doesn't make a difference when you're editing. Because when you're editing, you're adjusting all the gaps, and basically all the timing and all the personality that comes from timing arises in editing. And it's actually not really worth getting this right on the set. It's much better that the actors are just free to feel how to time it, how to pace it through. So don't get into too much discussion about timing when you're shooting. It just really doesn't matter very much. And it's actually much better if you can just let that slide, because in the end, the timing happens entirely in editing. And the other part of that, the other thing to be aware of, is that we aren't actually looking for full takes that are good from beginning to end. And I mean, obviously, I realize when a scene is edited together, we've picked all the good parts and put those together. But when you look at the raw takes of all the things that you admire, every other line is kind of crap, and it's fine, and it's normal and par for the course. So you shouldn't be listening to this as though, or watching a performance as though we're looking for a whole good take, because it's never going to be used that way. The way you should be watching it is, ooh, there's a good one, ooh, there's a good one, ooh, there's a good one. And then when you do the next take, it's going to be another line that's great. And in the end, you're going to feel that you're covered for all the lines. You have at least one good version of everything. So, but anyway, I hope you thought that was interesting. Make sure to subscribe to Hollywood Camera Work on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook to get notified of new episodes. And leave a comment below if you have an idea for an opportunity we missed in this episode, and maybe it'll be right for another episode. So I'll see you soon.